Good evening, this is Atmospheric Alex here, and welcome to yet another severe weather outlook and discussion forecast video here. We're not done with our severe weather pattern just yet. The tropics are finally starting to wake up just a little bit, but not quite enough to really switch gears just yet. So we're going to be going over an active severe weather pattern here for the Midwest and the Ohio Valley regions going into the 25th to 30th of July. But before we do any of that, let's look at our satellite imagery here from the past couple of days, and you could just see, all these scattered, severe showers and thunderstorms popping up across the board here. Just a typical summer-like pattern across the entire United States, with some flooding that has been occurring in some areas over the past few days as well. Now, even though this video won't really be about what is happening today, I think we should still go over it a little bit as we do have some active severe weather ongoing. We are talking about a level 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, a slight risk for severe weather for some of those areas in your Midwest regions. Even getting closer to your Rockies here, look at that near Rapid City, then everywhere in between, we were talking about our risk of severe weather materializing actually right as I am talking right this second. Now, I would like to do something a little bit different. Because of all the flooding that has been happening over the past few weeks, we're going to start going over the excessive rainfall outlook at the beginning of the videos here. And we're basically talking about a slight risk for flooding here across, the areas that will be seeing severe weather today, most certainly here, are in a level 2 out of 4 on the flash flood scale. That's something we really need to watch out for. As we go into tomorrow, basically the same song and dance, but it does shift a little bit further off to the south here. Again, flooding is definitely possible, especially in those yellow areas. If you're in the green areas, I wouldn't really be too concerned, but just know that there is the potential for a flood or a flash flood warning / advisory to get issued at any time tomorrow. And the day 3 outlook here, again, basically the same thing. Luckily, we're not seeing any of our red colors in here because we've been seeing that a lot lately, and that would explain why we've been seeing so much rain, is due to the forecast showing that significant flooding is a possibility. But luckily, we don't have to worry about that over the next few days, but certainly still cannot be ruled out. So really quickly, I would like to look at, the future radar here as it pertains from the HRRR model. Again, this is a model and not a forecast, but this is what the radar could end up looking like later this evening. So as of right now, according to real-time analysis, we do have a cluster of strong to potentially severe storms here ongoing here across Wisconsin and Minnesota here, and then other storms down here. If you did see at the beginning of the video, we did have active tornado warnings down here in Nebraska right now. That's definitely something we really need to monitor going forward. And what I just showed you on the model is right here in front of you on WeatherWise here. We are talking about a supercell with a pretty substantial hook signature right here near Broken Bow in Nebraska. That does have a tornado warning on it. So we're definitely talking about a lot of supercells that are starting to really cluster together in this area, and damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes are all going to be possible with those storms, which this model does show fairly well. You can see your supercellular thunderstorms growing upscale quite rapidly, and then further off to your west, some severe weather as well. And then we also can't forget about our features out here. There's a lot of stuff that has been ongoing across these areas, as we have had a lot of storm energy and even some wind shear aloft that has helped these storms grow and mature pretty quickly. You can see as we go throughout tonight, definitely going to be talking about a large area of strong to severe storms from Nebraska, Iowa here going into southern Minnesota, western Wisconsin here, another area out here which could see some severe weather, and even some activity across North Dakota that we may need to watch out for as well. Other than that though, not too much of a concern in general, just please stay weather aware. You may want to turn your emergency alerts on your phone, or even turn on your weather radios, just in case you do have a tornado that gets close to your area, because that can't be ruled out today. And then continuing through the night, storms will really continue, especially further south across Iowa there and beyond. And with today aside, we're going to go ahead and take a look at your European model, we're going to look at your storm energy here over the next week, or maybe even week and a half. We'll see how far we get with this. We're going to be talking about, for today, a very favorable environment for severe weather. Look at all this storm energy right through here that we're watching out for. And north of that, we have a little bit less that is important to note. But in between 2,000 to 5,000 CAPE is available in those areas right now, which is why we are seeing our severe thunderstorms. And then, of course, as we go into tomorrow, same song and dance, have quite a bit of storm energy. But let's continue on here going into it next week. Well, let's start on Saturday, right? Here we go. So in these areas here, do you see these little sticks, right? These little twigs, little tree sticks here. These are known as wind barbs. And wherever they're pointing is wherever the wind is going. So you can see here, like this line up here is going like this, and that is signaling winds in the mid to upper levels coming out of the northwest, right? That is very important to note when we talk about our severe weather chances. We're going to see a northwest flow pattern set up across the Midwest here. And this really gets underway on Sunday here. Oh, look at this. A big old plume of upwards of 5,000 CAPE is going to be possible. And if any storms form in there, they could be considerably severe, maybe even a bit destructive in nature, with very damaging winds, large hail, and even a tornado risk with those storms. And this really begins to overspread across much of the Ohio Valley as well as we head on through into Sunday, into Monday, especially Monday here. And definitely, look at this. You can see your wind barbs here going like this. This is a northwest flow type pattern here, and this will definitely cause a lot more severe weather. And then those areas with your flags here, that is where we could see even stronger winds aloft, and those could be easily brought down to the surface and could have some destructive winds with it, upwards of maybe 80 miles an hour with some of these storms. As we continue through time into Tuesday here, I'm getting my days mixed up, my goodness. I mean, you could just see kind of continues just like that. So we're really going to have to watch out for mesoscale convective systems and complexes to form in these areas and kind of start bowing out like this as they head on off to the southeast here along that area as they come in from the northwest. And this flow pattern begins to break down, but so much storm energy is still lingering to the point where flash flooding will be a major issue as we go later into next week, into August. I know, I can't believe August is already on the horizon. This year has been flying by. So remember what I was saying about those mid to upper level winds? This is a better way to view it from your 500 millibar winds. This is winds in the mid to upper levels, obviously. And we're going to be taking a look here at some of our areas of interest here. Like here, you're going to be seeing a lot of storm energy in these areas overlapped with some fairly strong winds aloft. Winds will be brought down to the surface and will cause a lot of problems. And I want to note your gigantic sprawling high pressure area right here, and this obviously is going to steer storms like this in this general fashion. Again, this is why we are so concerned about especially damaging winds in this upcoming pattern. This continues as this ridge retrogrades on off to the west, and look at this, got some yellow colors in here, definitely some very strong winds aloft with that right there, upwards of 60 to 70 miles an hour. So those winds will be brought down to the surface in the form of severe thunderstorms. And these will just continue your massive belt of flow as a large low pressure system forms up here in Canada near the Hudson Bay. And that is when things may finally start to quiet down for, say, all these areas right within here for the time being. You see a bit of a boundary here as well. And of course, we gotta look at your simulated radar here from your European model as well. And we are going to be seeing here some storms popping off tomorrow. You could see in the Midwest areas, into the plains as well. Definitely could see some severe weather. And then going on into Friday here, we don't have much of a flow set up yet, but still some severe weather definitely possible. Going into Saturday here, you're starting to see these storms up here kind of trying to take the general trajectory from a west to east motion, basically with your winds aloft. It's kind of following your jet stream up here, and this is when things will get interesting into Sunday. You can see our complexes of storms. This one back here, that would be quite significant. A lot of flooding rainfall could occur with something like this. That's what we really do need to watch over the next few days, even the next week and more. You can see your complexes start to form up here. Look at this, into your red colors here, so heavy rainfall. These areas are going to be moving off to your southeast here. Just like this, it's going to be doing something along the lines of that, bringing damaging winds, large hail, and even a bit of a tornado risk as well. That really becomes a lot more defined going on potentially into Sunday night. Not a forecast, but is a possibility. And it just gives you a general idea of what this pattern is going to hold. And then again, more complexes, more mesoscale convective systems form up here and ride the ridge just like that. So that is something we really have to watch. And definitely going to be an interesting next week or two. And then flooding really becomes a big issue. Yeah, take a look at this. A lot more rainfall could become realized going into August as you have your stalled out boundary right up here. And that is going to cause a ton of Gulf moisture streaming up into these areas. Not really an atmospheric river, but definitely an area of thunderstorms for sure. Now, with this big high pressure dome comes extreme heat. Now, of course, it is the summer, so it's not too abnormal to see heat like this at all. But we're talking about temperatures. I mean, look at this today here, upwards of the 90s into the 100s here, the triple digits here, across portions of the mid-south and deep south. But let's really take a look and analyze our upcoming pattern here. You can see here your heat building out into your plains here. That is going to quickly shift on off to your east. And here you go, going into around Tuesday. Wednesday here, temperatures very, very hot here. Look at that here across Tennessee. We could see highs approaching 100 degrees, even into eastern Tennessee. You all out there did not want to hear that at all. And then going across your eastern seaboard, or I should say southeastern seaboard, you know, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. According to this model, the Euro showing temperatures, that's 105, 107 degrees. Really hope not, but that could maybe break a record or two. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But very hot, that is a matter of fact. And your dew points here, basically how much moisture is in your air. Anywhere in the green is pretty much, you know, just normal humidity, nothing too much. Anything in your blue colors here, dark blues, kind of like your navy colors. I don't know how else to really describe that. That right through there. That would be, you know, maybe a little bit humid at times. In your purples here, that's moderately humid to very humid in your environment. And if you get into your deep purples, even into your sort of pink or whatever color that is down there, that is unbearably humid. That's to the point where it's air you can wear. And we will be talking about some air you can wear. Look across your Midwest. They call this corn sweat out here. I don't know if it exactly originates from corn. It might a little bit. Maybe some evapotranspiration taking place across there in your fields. But look at that. Definitely some 70 to 80 degree dew points. That is very significant. So it is going to feel unbearable out there in some areas. It is, again, once again, air you can wear. That is basically what I'm trying to get at, and it's just, that is awful. I mean, you're stepping out in there. A good way to describe this is basically like a sauna. That's not really fun to be in, especially when you're outside, the sun's blaring. You got temperatures in the mid to maybe even upper 90s, dew points approaching the mid 80s. Oh, that is awful. I have experienced that once, and you can't breathe. It's awful. It's summer. It could be good and it could also be bad. I mean, if you have some way to cool off, it's not as bad, but you get the idea, and maybe that could retreat going into early August. Now, one more very interesting product. This is your total precipitable water up here. This is basically your P-watt values. This is the amount of water that is being stored in your atmosphere and how much can come down during a given thunderstorm. So anywhere in your yellow colors is significant flooding right here. That is your risk for a lot of flooding to occur and for, you know, definitely a lot of storms to blow up as well. And you can see a bit of a tropical system. Look at that going on across the Gulf here. That is going to bring a ton of moisture into these areas, a ton of precipitable water aloft, and any storms that form in this area could have life-threatening flash flood concerns. That's something we really need to watch out for, especially if they're slow moving in nature. And you could just see this here. again, across your southeast, is that it again? Another little tropical system here. So we're going to be talking about these tropical waves across the southeast that is going to bring definitely a ton of flooding concerns. So if you're across the southeast and across, the mid-south, deep south, even a little further north, you need to have your flash flood plans, made already. You need to have, all your supplies ready so you can get out of there fast if something bad were to occur. And certainly, look at all this moisture being squeezed out here. That is going to be a big concern over the next couple of weeks. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm just kind of playing you through a satellite loop here of all of our showers and thunderstorms. If the overlays would stop breaking, there we go. You can definitely see a lot of tropical moisture across the Gulf right now. States like Florida getting absolutely hammered with thunderstorms, and even in the surrounding areas as well. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to my little corner of the weather community, and even share this with friends and family on social media if you wish. And with that being said, stay weather aware, everyone. Stay severe, tropical, and flood weather aware. It could get quite crazy out there over the next week or even 2 weeks, especially your flooding risk in your southeast. All right, have a wonderful night, everyone.